Hi guys, I just got a present in the mail. I received this box from this company right here that is a, uh, how do you say in English? A garden center. They sell trees, fruit trees. It's about 6 feet tall, and there's a couple of bare root fruit trees inside, and a few little bare root, like smaller bushes, fruit bushes. And I'm gonna show you how to plant them. I already have here my potting mix that I made my own. There's vermiculite, compost, uh, cocoa fiber or peat moss. I use usually I tend to go with cocoa fibers. If I don't find, I get peat moss, the 100% Canadian, so it's better, it's more renewable than the peat moss that used to be harvested like in Northern Europe and Russia that destroyed a lot of environment to get it. So anyway, you do try to do your best with what you have. I got some fertilizer, granular fertilizer I put inside, and that's it. That's it. I think that's about what I put. And I got my containers. This one, they are a little bigger than the other one where I put. Now I'm gonna show you. This one, they are, if I'm correct, they are 75 liters. They should be marked somewhere. Mm, no, no, I don't see nothing. But anyway, this one, they are 75 liters, and usually for my fruit trees here, I have the 50 liters. The thing is that these fruit trees, I'm gonna hold them. I showed you previously what I did, that I removed them from the ground because they kept getting, chewed up by the deers. So I'm gonna keep them here until they are like 6, 7 feet tall, and then put them back in the ground. While these two fruit trees that I'm gonna show you what I got inside there, they're gonna stay in these containers, and I'm gonna bring them inside in winter. So I got them a little larger to give them a little bit more space, and I'll try to keep them at a decent size, like a 6, 7, maximum 8 feet, so it's easy to manage. And I have a few smaller ones for the fruit bushes I told you about, and I think I got 4. If I remember, I'm not sure. I like that I ordered this, I think, back in December, so there might be stuff inside that I forgot I ordered. All right, here we are. So, what is important when you receive these bare root trees is to get them out of the box as fast as possible and get them in ground or in a pot. You can put them in a temporary position because you don't want the roots to dry up. Um, this company does a good job. I already ordered from them. You see, they put lots of uh, this is how do you call it, sawdust. So you can still see the moisture inside. You can see the condensation. I think they ship it Monday, and today it's Thursday, and I actually got it yesterday. So it went pretty fast over the mail, and you can see this one. They are actually already awake, but it's fine. I'm gonna tell you what they are. While the two big trees, you can see them; they are still dormant. But it's the most important thing is to get in the ground as fast as possible. You don't want this one to dry. If you have to wait a few days, make sure open them up, check that there's moisture. You see, look for the condensation. If not, dump some water inside. Keep them in the dark in a cool place, but as fast as you can, put them in the container. This is a gooseberry, and inside there's something else. Well, let's leave it for last. You see, that's what I'm talking about, that I forgot what I ordered, but um, I got few of these. They were pretty cheap. They are like you put them around the trunk of your tree in winter to protect it from rodents. So they're like spirals. There's like a bunch of them, 4 on this one. And maybe I'll show you when this winter coming, how to use them. And so let's start from this one. This is, they call it wood tea. It's basically tea of the woods. It's the plant, I already have one, is the one that makes those small red berries that taste like root beer. I just have one, so I wanted to have a second one. You can see it's already actually flowering there. So this is gonna go close to the other one. Probably I'm gonna maybe put it in ground right away because the temperature now seems to be mild. And here, wow, that's huge. This one, it's a currant. Gadalier is currant pink champagne, so it's a pink currant. And look, for this plant, okay, this is a big plant because look at the size of it. I think I must have paid $8 or 10 because it's bare root. So if you go instead into a garden center and buy like something like this size, you pay at least the double. And same for the trees. These two trees, they are packed together, so I'm gonna go close to it to show you. One, let's see what I got. So this is the apricot. Haricot is the variety. This one is actually they sent it back because the first one they gave me, it didn't take 2 years ago, and I sent them a picture, and they say whenever you want, we send you a new one. I told them to wait. I didn't want them to send just pay for the shipping for the tree, so I told them to wait, and the next time I'm gonna make an order just to add one of these, and so to have something else, I order a peach Reliance. So now this one I can't leave it outside. It's gonna die 100% in this climate. The apricot I might be able to overwinter it, but I'll keep them I think inside, bring them in the garage for winter and see how they go. And inside here, now I'm gonna open that box and we'll take a look what there is. All right, so what we got this one. It's a now I can't remember well, let's go ahead. I remember how it's called. Anyway, if you know Fruit Trees Invicta, it's a famous variety of this. It's a berry. Um, uh, it's a gooseberry. There you go. I'm sorry, but I'm getting old. So that's a gooseberry Invicta. I already have a few gooseberries. I like to have different varieties. And then this one are chams. The chams, they are cross between a cherry and a plum. They are very hardy. They grow very strong, and they produce, like they say already, by the second or third year. So, but you need cross pollination. So that's why I got two variety. One is called Opata, and the other is called Manor. And then I got a little the little red one, the crown the floor, how it's called. Now I can't. When I see the French name, now all I can get is the French name. In English, it's cranberries. Okay, cranberries. So cranberries and gooseberries. And then here, what they were saying is just to make sure that these plants they are like uh, active, how you say, alive. So they are, like I say, the trees they are dormant, but this one they are awoken. So it is important to treat them like to keep them inside if there's the risk of frost, to plant them right away, and when you bring them out, it's suggested to do the acclimatization like you do with your vegetable when you bring them, you grow them, you start them inside, and then you go outside. So they basically tell you, to bring it out in a day that there's shade, and then add the sun slowly, like exactly like you do the vegetable. So that's what I got. This one I'm gonna put in small pots, maybe even this one for now. Same thing with the giant there, pink currant. And the two big ones, I'm gonna plant them, and I'm gonna show you how to plant them. The important things you want to keep in mind is when you plant, it's the the graft point. Okay, so this is the rootstock, and you can see this knob here. That's where the scion has been grafted. So there's you want to keep in mind where it is, and some things you plant them below the level, other things you're gonna have to plant them up. As I was saying, of the graft points, you see the knob here. Now I'll make it simple for what I know. I'll divide the trees like in apple and pears, and then the other fruit trees like peaches, apricot, plums. Apple and pears, they are grafted, usually, most of the time, on rootstock to keep them smaller, so like dwarf or semi-dwarf, to keep them to a manageable size. Now, if you plant the graft points on an apple and pears below the soil level, okay, what is going to happen is that the scion, that is the variety on top, okay, that has been grafted, there's a chance that it might root. It may root from the scion, and that what is going to give it is going to give it a vigor that is like the original vigor of the scion. So you're going to get a full-size apple and full-size pear, not anymore the dwarf, because the dwarf size came from the rootstock. You get? So apple and pears, you want to keep this knob 2 to 4 inches above the soil level, so that you're not going to have the chance that this part on top is going to root. While peaches, apricots, plums, and maybe even cherries, I'm not 100% sure on sweet cherries, because sweet cherries here they don't grow, so do your own research. But for apricot and peaches, you actually want to get this one below ground level for 2 reasons. But first is that it's very rare that peaches and apricot they are grafted onto a dwarfing rootstock. So even if you get roots, the size is not going to be affected, because both scion and rootstock size is the same. So there's no problem with that. On top of it, the fact that this part is covered by an inch or two of soil, it protects the point here, and from the weather and the cold, and it's a good thing because this is a weak point. That's where the two trees they got put together, so it's a weak point. So the more protected it is, the better chance you have to have a healthy tree. So this one I'm gonna add. Obviously, you see I'm missing a couple of inches, so this knob here is gonna get down like this. So it's gonna be a couple of inches below the soil level, and on the apricot is gonna be the same. Here I'm gonna show you. You can see even better the graft points. There, you can see almost. Let me focus here. There you go. The color is actually different. You can really see this is the rootstock, and that's the graft point there. And here you can actually see this is going to be one of the problems you might have, the suckers. Okay, so these are basically what you see, like they're going to come up like half a feet from the plant, like another little tree, and it's going to basically be a sucker. The thing with this is that you don't get the variety that you want, because this is the variety of the rootstock. They usually is like a wild plum that really doesn't have anything worth. Besides being a tree, you can still cut it and plant it if you want, but you don't get a good quality fruit. You don't get the variety you wanted and you pay for. So this one I can snap it off and throw it, and it's gonna keep suckering a bit. The peaches too probably, but you're just gonna cut them off. If they ever come from the top, that's a different thing. That's the variety you want, but most probably it's not hardy enough. That's why they are grafted on the rootstock. It's very difficult to. There's not really point in keeping those secondary trees and stuff. And then they are all potted up, like I told you before. Graft points for peaches, apricot, and plums 1 or 2 inches below the soil level. The rest I just put them in the small pots. And remember to water. Now I'm gonna water a lot. It's very important to water a lot when you use like potting mix that, you know, it might have been sitting around, so it might be dry, so you want to soak it nice. And then just keep an eye on it, and they should wake up pretty soon. I can see the buds swelling on the peach. Actually, yeah, you can see them. And here you can see on the apricots. I might cut down this one, clean it up a bit. This one too looks dead. But for the rest, they did a good job. I like how they cut the top here. And that's it. Just keep following me, and I'll keep you updated, and I'll show you how these plants they are growing. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.